At this point, I'd like to invite onto stage our guests. And I'm going to start first by inviting His Excellency Dr. Thabo Mbeki, the Chancellor of the University of South Africa and former President of the Republic of South Africa, Dr. Marcia Sotrikwa, Vice Principal Operations and Facilities and the Acting Vice Chancellor, and Professor Michael Temane, the Acting Registrar of the University of South Africa. I would now like to invite our jury members, both classical and jazz jury members, to join us on stage. And while they're coming up, our 4 finalists, please join us on stage. And I would like to finally call these 3 candidates to also join us on stage: Francis Duplessis, Leah Gunter, and Kwena Ramahuta. You may be seated. In 1957, a young pregnant wife went to the hospital for a simple attack of appendicitis. Doctors had to put ice on her stomach, and when the treatment ended, the doctors advised her to abort the pregnancy. The young woman was told, and I quote, "This is the best solution, because if you go through with your pregnancy, your child will be born with a severe disability." The scared young woman started crying. Not knowing what to do, she turned to her husband and said, "How can I give up this child? It was sent to us for a reason and has a purpose in life." "That woman was my mother," said Andrea Bocelli in 2010. Incidentally, his blindness was not related to this incident, but rather to a football accident at the age of 12 that left him blind. The decision taken by Bocelli's mother impacted his life and all of our lives. Had she taken a different decision at the time, the world of vocal music and the world of music in general would be radically different today. Why do I relate the story? It is because we all take decisions in our lives. Some are life-changing and others not. All the candidates that performed over the last week in the competition took a decision, a major decision some time back, to dedicate their lives to a career in music. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a musician. Take it from me, this is not an easy choice. Because choosing a career in music, you commit to a lifetime of practicing and diligently and painstakingly working on your skills. It is not an easy career if you want to be successful. Tonight, those decisions taken by our candidates will take a radical turn for the 4 finalists on stage. Why? Because historically, the winners and second place winners of our competitions have gone on to very prestigious careers. from Renee Fleming, Olga Kern, Marc-Andre Hamlin, to Abigail Bushokovich, Kyle Shepard, and Megan Jeffrey Prince. Our finalists from this evening will join this elite group of performers who credit winning a Unisa competition amongst their top honors and one of the determining factors in their careers. Before I announce the winners, I'd like to introduce to you our honored guests seated on stage. They are from left to right, His Excellency, Dr. Thabo Mbeki, Chancellor of the University of South Africa and former President of the Republic of South Africa. Dr. Marcia Sotrikwa, Vice Principal Operations and Facilities and Acting Vice Chancellor. Professor Michael Temane, Acting Registrar of the University of South Africa. Our classical jury, Lisa Kutzer, Dr. Conroy Cupido, Dr. Hanli Stabila, Hannah van Niekerk, and Tami Zungu. Our jazz voice category, Debbie Mari and Tabiseng Motsepe, Professor Mageshan Naidu, Nikki Schrerer, and Amanda Tiffin. Our jazz finalist, Tshepo Tshabalala, Daniela Hart, and our classical finalists, Palesa Malieloa and Cecilia Rangwanasha. Taking home some of our special prizes today are Leah Gunter, Francis Duplessis, and Kwena Ramahuta. We will now present the special prizes, and I will call on our guests to please rise as we present the prizes for the special candidate winners. The following prizes were voted for by either the classical or the jazz jury. The winner of the best performance for an art song in the first round, classical category, was Francis Duplessis. The winner of the best performance of an up-tempo jazz standard or jazz ballad in the first round, Tshepo Tshabalala. The winner of the best performance of an opera aria in the second round classical category, Leah Gunter. The winner of the best performance of a South African jazz work in the second round is Tshepo Tshabalala. most promising semi-finalist in the classical category who did not go through to the final round as voted by our shadow jury, Francis Duplessis. The most promising semi-finalist in the jazz category who did not go through to the final round as voted by the shadow jury, Kwena Ramahuta. Each of the semi-finalists also receives a 3,000 Rand prize sponsored by the Desmond Wilson Memorial Trust. Before presenting the main prizes, it is important to note that the first and second prizes are based on cumulative scores in all 4 rounds, and not, I repeat, not just the final round, thereby requiring the winner to perform consistently well from the start of the competition. In the jazz category, the second prize winner is Daniela Hart. The first prize winner, no stranger to winning prizes tonight, Tshepo Tshabalala. Moving on to the classical category, the second prize winner is Cecilia Rangwanasha. The first prize winner of the classical voice category Palesa, Malieloa. It is important to note that all 4 finalists gain automatic entry into our 6th international voice competition, which will take place on this stage on the 23rd of January 2018 until the 3rd of February. I now call upon our guests to be seated, and I call upon Professor Michael Tamane, the Acting Registrar of Unisa, to deliver the congratulatory speech.
Program Director, His Excellency, the former President of the Republic of South Africa, Dr. Thabo Mbuyelwa Mbeki, the Excellencies, members of the missions here in Pretoria and elsewhere, honored guests who are here, the members of the jury. I also want to recognize the Acting Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mashia Sotikwa, and her husband. And Dr. Mbeki, I also want to recognize my own spouse, Dr. Williams, who is also here, and my son. And I want to warmly acknowledge all of you in attendance this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, colleagues, and participants, good evening. It is my distinct pleasure to address you this evening. It is well known that Ludwig van Beethoven wrote just one opera, Fidelio, a deeply humanistic opera. What is not well known is that Beethoven struggled with this opera. He worked on it for 11 years with constant revisions, edits, and changes. The opera endured a name change, 4 overtures, a major rewrite, and several cancelled performances. In fact, the first performance was very poorly received, with only a handful of his friends and some stray French soldiers attending the performances. To say that Fidelio caused Beethoven major heartbreak, depression, and a questioning of his abilities would be an understatement. All of this from a man who revolutionized music at the time and left a massive volume of work for future generations to study, perform, and emulate. Today, Fidelio is part of the standard operatic repertoire, and the initial challenges Beethoven faced are a thing of the past. There are several lessons we can learn from Beethoven and his work with Fidelio. First, believe in yourself even if it takes many years to achieve your goals. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Trust your abilities and know that success may not be immediate. Finally, and most importantly, there will always be times when you question your abilities as a performer. Never let that deter you. Persevere and believe in yourself, especially when the future does not look promising. Over the past 2 weeks, we have witnessed some of the best young South African jazz and classical vocalists that our country has to offer. I have little doubt that every one of them experienced a roller coaster of emotions, from nervousness and self-doubt to jubilation and relief. Unfortunately, such is the nature of competitions. They are designed to test the competitors and push them to their very limits. I was fortunate to attend some of the earlier performances in the final round this evening, as you see me standing here. Without a doubt, the quality and level of performance has been extremely high, and I'm certain you will agree. This is a statement to the quality teaching that is taking place across our beloved country. 30 to 40 years ago, we would probably have doubted whether our national vocalists were at the level of international vocalists that visited our country. Today, I can state unequivocally, the levels of performance from these candidates is on par, if not better, than their international counterparts. I cannot wait to hear the finalists from tonight compete against the international jazz and classical vocalists that will participate in our international voice competition in 6 months' time, as Professor Devrup indicated. To our winners, congratulations on your superb achievement. You have joined a prestigious and illustrious list of past winners whose careers took flight after winning one of our competitions. To all participants who had the courage to enter in this competition, thank you for making the effort to participate and share your talents. We are very proud of you as young South African artists and wish you well as you embark on a journey to take your place on world stages as South African performers. To our esteemed classical and jazz jury members, my sincere thanks go to you for sharing your expertise and mentoring our young performers. The artistic director, Professor Devrup, informed me that this was an incredible experience for our scheduled jury as well. I'm indeed happy to hear that this was such a rich and rewarding experience for you. I trust that you will take the knowledge you acquired and put it into practice in your education and performance. The Unisa Music Foundation has one of the country's largest community engagement programs, serving over 1,300 disadvantaged students and employing approximately 50 black tutors while investing in their education by upgrading their skills and qualifications. I was most pleased to hear that some of the jazz and classical candidates in this competition were affiliated with our community engagement program, either students, tutors, or participants of our Tshwane Youth Music Festival. Unisa is extremely proud to have supported these students, and we are gratified to see them develop to the point that they can be counted amongst the competitors of this competition. We anxiously anticipate the day when one of you will go on to win this competition. Hosting a competition of this nature is no simple task, and we certainly could not have accomplished it without the help of several key individuals. We are grateful to everyone that was involved in this competition, from our conductor, Brandon Phillips, of the JPO, and the rhythm section with Dr. Roland Moses, Mr. Victor Masondo, and Mr. Peter Oret. And also to our highly skilled Unisa staff from sound and video, Dr. Sotikwa, who are from University Estates. Our graphic design team, the Unisa Music Foundation and Corporate Communications and Marketing. We are indeed fortunate at Unisa to have such talented individuals who can make events such as this one a resounding success. I encourage you to mark your calendars as our International Voice Competition is scheduled to take place from the 23rd of January until the 3rd of February 2018. I sincerely hope that all of you will be able to attend when these 4 finalists compete with their international counterparts. To all candidates that participated in our competition, I remind you of the saying, success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, Professor Tamane. Folks, we're about done, but I have to deal with just two things. Firstly, if you enjoyed our competition and you like the performances and you like the venue, then I strongly encourage you to mark the 26th of August. We have a fantastic relationship with the Samro Foundation. 26th of August, their competition comes to this hall. They've got the superstars from the Megan Jeffrey Prince to all of the absolute fabulous performers in our country in their competition. It will be on the stage. I encourage you to mark your tickets. I've been told there's a very limited number of tickets available to the public. So get it early. Finally, folks, Professor Tamane mentioned our community engagement project, which we are very proud of. Over 1,300 students. We uplift kids in various areas, various circumstances. Tonight, our students were in the shadow jury. Our students were in the orchestra performing, our tutors, and they were on stage in the past week. So a tremendous accomplishment. I'd like to, at this point, call up Tshepo Ledwaba onto the stage. So while Tshepo is coming up on stage, let me first start by saying something positive about Tshepo. This is an incredible young man, folks. If the world were full of Tshepo Ledwabas, majority of our problems would cease to exist. He's got a fantastic personality. He's one of the most jovial, positive people I've ever encountered. Moving beyond the positive comments. 3 weeks ago, Tshepo came to my office wearing a very foolish-looking hat. I may have used the word stupid-looking hat. And I told him, Tshepo, it's a very stupid-looking hat. His response to me was, and then he wore the hat every single day. Throughout this competition, he wore the hat. He comes on stage, he wears the hat. The reason I called Tshepo up on stage, folks, is we have fantastic relationships with our international competition, and I leveraged those relationships. One of them was with Oberlin Conservatory. We have a fantastic relationship. Over the past 2 years, I've made threats, twisted arms, threatened to break legs, and the result has been that Oberlin Conservatory has given Tshepo Ledwaba a full scholarship to train as our country and probably the continent's first black trained and certified Steinway technician. Now, to give you an example of just how difficult this is, the training center for Steinway is in Hamburg at the factory. They accept less than 10 people per year. Hundreds apply and do not get in. The only other training facility is at Oberlin Conservatory. Tshepo has been accepted personally by John Kavanagh, the head of piano technology. John Kavanagh, who was our technician for our international piano competition last year, showed me he is personally going to take Tshepo under his wing. He is going to train him. And not only will Tshepo be one of the best technicians in the country or on the continent, he will be one of the best technicians in the world. So Tshepo leaves in a couple of weeks. I'm sincerely grateful to Oberlin Conservatory. I'm sincerely grateful to the senior management at Unisa that's supporting Tshepo. He will be gone for 3 years, so you will not see Tshepo or that hat for another 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our ceremonies for tonight. I'd like to once again thank our Chancellor, Dr. Thabo Mbeki, and our senior management, our acting Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sostikwa, Professor Tamana, our jury members and finalists, and everyone that was involved for putting this event together. I ask that the jury and the finalists please remain on stage for just about 2 or 3 minutes while we take some photographs. Thank you so much, folks. Folks, can I ask you to please remain seated? Please remain seated and allow Dr. Mbeki to exit the hall first.